Hello BookTube, my name is Sarah, and today I'm coming to you with my October 2017 TBR. So excited, it's TBR time. I always look forward to this every single month. I don't know what, it's like new, fresh, and exciting books. Even though these books have been on my TBR, most of them have been on my TBR for a while, it's still like, exciting. It's all exciting. So, for those of you who might be new to my channel, every month I participate in the Triple RC Challenge, and what that is, it's the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads, and they do a monthly challenge where they give you 10 different categories, and you need to find books that fit into those categories to read. Now, it is the Romance Readers Group, but as I always like to say, these questions are always so open-ended, or these categories are always so open-ended, that you don't necessarily just have to read romance novels. I really think that you could fit in pretty much, you could find a book in any genre to fit in these categories. But that being said, let me jump right in and get started. So, category number 1, O is for October. Read a book that starts with O, or a book whose author's first or last name starts with O. And the book that I picked is actually one that I have on audio, and it's called Occult America by Mitch Horowitz. And this is a nonfiction novel, and it's essentially the history of different occult practices in America. And I bought this book a couple years ago, and I thought, it's October. What better month to read something like this than, so kind of like the history of seances and the history of, stuff like that. It just sounds, mediums and psychics, and, it just sounds like a lot of fun. That's right up my alley. I'm into the history of just about anything, so I'm really excited about getting to this one. Category number 2, Happy Anniversary. Read a book that was published in October of any year, or a book by a Triple RC member that joined in any year. And I always go with the member, so I go through the list of October, and this month it was really weird. I always look for people who have like over 1,000 books, because it's a better chance that we are going to have something in common, because I like to pick as much off my current TBR as I possibly can. I don't want to necessarily have to run out and buy new books just to fit into a category. Oftentimes I have to do that, at least once or twice a month. But the bulk, I'd really like to come from my TBR. So I like to compare books with other members and seeing what I can see. So I went through about 4 or 5 different people, and every single one, one of these people had The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. And I'm like, okay, I've owned this book for a number of years now. I'm pretty sure I saw the movie. Don't quote me. This one is about a war veteran, and he finds a woman's picture in Afghanistan, and then he traces her down, or looks for her, and offers to take care of her, because I guess her honey or her husband or whoever died in the war. I'm not absolutely certain. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw the movie, but I'm not a huge movie watcher, so I couldn't really tell you. But still, like I said, 5 people, all 5 people that I checked, all had this on their list, and so did I. It was telling me I had to read it. Category number 3 is the Featured Author Challenge, and the author for October is Katie MacAlister. Read one book written by Katie MacAlister, or either of her pseudonyms, Katie Maxwell or Kate Marsh, or any author with her first or last name. I really am trying to stick with the author to try new authors. She writes paranormal romance, which is not something I generally gravitate towards. I really don't care for it, to be completely honest. But I thought I'd give it a try, and my library has one of her books, this book on audio, so that's working out well. And it's A Girl's Guide to Vampires, of course, by Katie MacAlister. It's about a woman who, she's actually in Romania on vacation with a friend, and she begins having these strange dreams about this strange man, and then she runs into him at some sort of goth fair. I don't know, it sounds really quirky, and that's why I think I'm going to be okay with it. The quirky paranormal, I don't mind so much, but the more serious paranormal, I don't care for it, if that makes any kind of sense. So, yeah, I am actually looking forward to this one quite a bit. Category number 4, October the 6th is World Smile Day. Read a book by a favorite author or part of a favorite series, something guaranteed to make you smile. The series that I started, I think I started it this year or the end of last year, but I read another one in the series this year, and that series is Red Dirt Royalty. So the book that I'm going to be reading is The Boss and His Cowgirl by Silver James. It's book 3 in the Red Dirt Royalty series. This is a series about a group of brothers who run a very large, very wealthy land ownership business, I think, in Texas, and the women who love them. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Silver James is a new favorite author of mine. She writes fantastic books, and to knock another one off of the series makes me very happy. Category number 5, October the 7th, is International Frugal fun day. I love, where do they come up with these? Read a book that you paid little or nothing for, a freebie, borrowed from a friend, library, secondhand purchase, etc. So I talked about this very briefly in my book haul that I did earlier this week. And Harlequin was doing their buy 3, get 1 free sale on Friday. So I bought 3 books and I got this one for free. And it is A Cowboy in the Kitchen by Maxwell. It is book number 1 in the Hurley's Restaurant series, I think it's called. And I got, I think, the 4th book in one of my Harlequin subscriptions a couple months ago. And I thought I really wanted to start this series because it sounded super adorable. So this one's about a man who's a widower, and he enlists the help of the main female character to teach him how to cook because she runs the restaurant or cafe or whatever it is. And the parents, his deceased wife's parents, want to take the little girl because they think that she would be better raised by a loving couple. So it kind of becomes a marriage of convenience where he asks this woman to marry him so they can be a family, so they can give this little girl a home, so they can stop the courts from trying to take her away. It sounds like a very heavy topic, but it really looks like a cute and sweet book, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to it. Category number 6, October 17th, Wear Something Gaudy Day. Read a book with a character that is over the top or flamboyant, or who enjoys clothing and or dressing well, or a book with a bright, colorful cover. The book that I decided to go with, I actually immediately thought of when I thought of this category because I bought this book fairly recently, and I remember the cover was just so bright and colorful with all that beautiful yarn, and that is Yarn to Go by Hechtman. It is the first book in a knitting cozy mystery series. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the series off the top of my head. Let me see if I can bring it up very, very quickly so I can tell you guys. But it's essentially about a woman who inherits her aunt's knitting retreat. Oh, that's it. The Yarn Retreat Mystery Series. She inherits her aunt's yarn retreat business, if you will, and a murder takes place, and the story goes from there. I love this cover with the black cat and colorful yarn. Very suitable for the category, if you ask me. Category number 7 is October 24th, United Nations Day. Read a book set in a country other than where you live. Now, I could have taken the really easy way out of this because I live in Canada, and 90% of the books that I read, the setting is in the United States. I could have literally picked any book and read it, but I thought, let's go outside of that. So I actually decided to pick a book that was set in Australia, and I went on Goodreads and started checking Listopia for romance novels set in other countries, and I came across this one and I had forgotten. Sarah Mayberry actually is Australian, and all of her books take place in Australia. So the book I'm going to read is Her Best Friend by Sarah Mayberry. Now, I read a book by this author earlier this month, and I was less than impressed with it. It wasn't the writing or anything like that. It was strictly the choices the characters made I didn't like, but I'm hoping this one is going to be far better. They say this is a fan favorite of hers, and it's about a woman who's in love with this guy since they were kids, I guess, and he's now married and whatever. Well, then I guess he separates, and now this is like their chance. So, I don't know, sounds really adorable and sweet. It's a Harlequin super romance, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Category number 8, October 28th, is Make a Difference Day. Read a book with a main character that helps people, either because they are in an occupation that serves the public, medicine, law enforcement, firefighter, etc., or just to be nice. So, the book I'm actually going with is Animal Attraction by Jill Shalvis. I read the first book in this series earlier this year, and I really, really loved it. And I did look up, like, military or firefighter, police officer romances, and this was in one of the categories, so I don't know if the main character is actually in law enforcement or in the military. However, it fits into the category because even if that's not the case, he's helping animals, and animals are people too, so I'm allowing it. And category number 9, October 31st, Halloween. Read a book that is shelved as a paranormal romance or urban fantasy, or a book with a child in the storyline or with something sweet on the cover, and yes, you can interpret that however you wish, it says. The book I picked, wait for it, The Betrayed by Heather Graham. Book number, I think I'm up to book 13 or 14 now in the Crew of Hunters series. Sorry, I need to check because I'm curious. I have this one on Audible. It is book number 14 in the series. This book is actually set in Sleepy Hollow, which is going to be super cute and super creepy for Halloween. I'm so excited about that. And yeah, so book number 14 in the series, very much looking forward to it. I mean, when I saw that that was one of the categories, I immediately clicked on this book and went, okay, tell me it's shelved as paranormal romance. And it is! So yay! And category number 10 is Reader's Choice. Read any book of your choice. So, originally, the book I was going to pick for this was Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, which is book number 3 in the Outlander series. On Audible, 43 hours long. I have a 20-hour car trip coming up this month in October, over 2 days. A drive down, staying for a day, and a drive home. And I was going to try and listen to this the entire way down. Well, and back. I've had second thoughts on that, strictly because I do not want to force myself to read Voyager. I want to enjoy it. When I listened to Outlander on audio, it took me almost 2 months. Dragonfly and Amber, I think, took me almost 3 months. I want to savor and enjoy this book. So my thought is that I might kind of fit it in a little bit here and there. It's also they're such dense books that to cram it all in a few days, I think is going to be detrimental, and I'm not going to enjoy the series. So needless to say, that was what I was going to pick for my Reader's Choice. But then I was on Goodreads, and I have so many people that I follow. If you ever want to follow me on Goodreads, please do, because I will follow you back. I always like to look at what other people are reading. And I saw someone was reading a book in this series, and the cover jumped out at me, and I thought, that is so cute. So I looked it up on Amazon, and I found that it was like 5th or 6th in the series. And I went back and looked at the first book, and I squeed. Literally squeed. My husband looked at me and thought I was nuts. He looks at me like that a lot, but that's a totally different story. So the book is Melt My Heart Cowboy, and it's by C.J. Carmichael. C.J. Carmichael is an author I'm very familiar with. She has written extensively for Harlequin, category romance. So I'm very, very familiar with her work. And this is, like I said, it's the first book in a series, and that series is Love at the Chocolate Shop. But please take a look at the cover very quickly. Yes, guys, those are pumpkins and a witch's hat in the shop window. So that means this book takes place at Halloween or in the fall. And being the first in a series, it was fate that I came across this book, and I really think I'm going to enjoy it. It actually has really high ratings on Goodreads. It's over 4 stars. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It seems like all the books in this series, follow, different, time periods. So, I think the next book is around Thanksgiving. The book after that is Christmas time. I'm almost tempted, depending on how long it takes me to read it, is to fit these in now. I've been reading the Cupid's Coffee Shop books, which are great, but they're tiny little novellas. I might, in November, if I have the time, fit in the next book and just keep going. Because it just looks like an adorable series, and it's written by a bunch of different authors, which is always a lot of fun too. So anyway, guys, that is my TBR for October. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below what books you are reading in October. Have you done your TBR yet? Are you participating in the Triple RC Challenge? What books did you pick for some of these categories? I'm asking all the questions. Again, I will leave a links to all the books that I talked about in the description box below, if you're interested in checking them out for yourself. And also down there are where you can find me on all social media, including Goodreads. And until my next video, guys, take care and happy reading. Bye.